All right, this should be fun. Yeah, that's fine. Fine. Do, 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 do. Ah, ah, ah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it is Wednesday overnight. That's an understatement. And I am supposedly simulcasting between YouTube and Facebook. So this should be kind of cool, I hope. If not, so be it. I'll go to the grave like this. Ah! All right, so it is Wednesday and happy hump day, I think. 2 in the morning. So what things do I want to cover? Okay. First of all, so I had a few like interesting things, but first I want to cover like Candace Owen. Like this woman seriously needs to just go away and give up the mic. I mean, it was bad enough when she was telling like adults to behave a certain way. Now she's trying to sexualize and pervert children's shows. Make the Muppets manly again. Like, honey, you need to get over yourself. That's seriously some really freaking perverted energy there. Um, yeah. So, I mean, Gonzo has literally wore more dresses than I care to remember. I mean, this stuff dates back to 1973, almost to the origins of the Muppets, and we're talking the origins of Sesame Street. This is like legit old school. And it's not only the dresses, like Gonzo, before he settled down with Camilla, was legitimately with swinging with, I don't, God knows how many chickens who would hang around with him and get promiscuous with him all the time. Well, I mean, promiscuous, what am I saying? I mean, it's a kid's thing, but they will hang out and just like play. If we put it to an adult realm, it would probably be promiscuity, but of some sorts. It doesn't have to be completely sexual. But and then life partners. Gonzo never married. Even Current the Frog went for marriage. Gonzo not. So legit. Like Gonzo is gender non-binary, polymorous of some sort, and then on top, completely anti-marriage. This is why I love Jim Henson. Like seriously, Jim Henson was comfortable enough creating a children's show that allowed children to be children in all respects, where it wouldn't put pressure on anything, but it would open doors that they otherwise wouldn't see. And that's what I think was brilliant about that guy. Say what you want about the rest of it. All right. So, but Candace Owen doesn't like deserve that much attention. Neither does, well, Jim Henson does deserve more than Candace Owen in this case, but I'll leave that to the critics. So, right, I had an interesting discussion about asexuality. Um, so for the few of you who do or don't know, I fall somewhere in the spectrum of like asexual, demisexual, and there's a lot of complicated nuances which cause me to go back and forth. But um, yeah, one discussion that goes on is like, am I like my well discussion that's going on lately? I think it's been like triggered mostly by the pandemic that's being brought up in a lot of these groups. Is am I like forever alone because I'm ace? And I'm like, this point, I don't think I care. Honestly speaking, I mean, considering what ace is, I wouldn't mind a partner, but I'm not like begging to like jump in the sack with them, which is a whole nother deal. Um, so yeah, it's like seriously, I could care less. Um, but you know, if someone wants to come and cuddle and that type of thing, I'm not totally turned. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to where this video was going. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think it's mostly brought up by the pandemic. I think a number of discussions which were interesting have been brought up by the pandemic recently. And here's another thing. If you're on this channel and you don't believe you should be vaccinated, you also don't believe in washing your hands after going to the bathroom and before you eat, because that's about the same thing. Maintaining your health and maintaining it for those around you so you don't get them sick is not new age. It's not like anything fancy. It's like very simple. We've been at this over and under and around. Um, and seriously, we shouldn't have to keep going through it. I wonder what, like, it's kind of interesting because I can, like, I'm kind of curious to see what, like, the YouTube looks like. Yeah, YouTube's basically dead right now, I think. Um, but yeah, so it's kind of like I'm seriously like, dude, you don't want to vaccinate, you don't want to wear a mask. Okay, so let's see if I can explain this. The mask versus vaccination works a little like this. The mask has a 30% efficacy rate as far as like holding the virus at bay, or at least alleviating most of its fair syndrome. But that's only a menial 30%. The vaccine varies between 95 to 98, depending on what numbers you get a hold of. And that's pretty good for a vaccine, statistically speaking. So the reason why, like, it's okay to unmask when you have a lot of people unvaccinated as opposed to vaccinated is because it's sort of like saying, okay, now we've gone to like, hmm, when we're doing the mask, it's sort of like putting a condom on. There's somewhat of a guarantee he's not going to get you pregnant, but it's not really up there. And we know the funny business that goes on. When you um when you go ahead and take the vaccine, it's basically like one of the two having some form of neutrality of the ability to conceive. So like legit, if let's say it's castration for argument's sake. So it's like the other person being castrated. Now it's not so much like the condom. It's like a guaranteed thing. you're not gonna get pregnant from that. And that's sort of like what the vaccine is with a virus. There's always like a teeny minute risk, and we all accept that. That's the reality of things, but it's so slim at that point. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what about what's happening with the vaccinated now? Which my response is like, you remember I said that funny business before? That's where we're at. Because when you have like 100 people running around unvaccinated carrying viral loads, it transmits. And the more places it transmits to, the more chances you get to catch it. And just like playing roulette, the more chances that are taken, the more likely it is you get infected. It's not that hard. It's all math. It's very simple. If 2 plus 2 equals 4, but you take 2 away, you no longer have 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4, minus 2 equals 2 again. That's the way it works. Sorry, it it it's math. And that's not exact numbers. Obviously, the complexity of the virus is much more robust than that. I mean, but it's the same idea. You do something to take away numbers, it's gonna reduce the the likelihood that other people are unprotected are protected from the virus. And when you do that, you're putting other people at risk. Very simple. And the whole debate as personal choice, okay, make a personal choice. That's your decision. Then you know what? You also make a personal choice for consequences. Um, you know, you can't go in hospitals then because guess what? What are they doing? They're caring for at risk populations. And if you don't meet the basic standards, they have to be concerned about that. But it's more than that because it's like health workers who insist they have their job and they're non vaccine too, which doesn't work. That's a different ball game. That's a professional certification. You go in for a professional field, you have to be certified under some level. There's no way you get away from it. You can't drive a car without a license. You can't like even the simplest computer jobs nowadays require some sort of certification. And this is the same thing. But more than that, in this case, it's more in line with OSHA certifications for certain like jobs and such, which is completely different and concerns more safety. Um, yeah, so or like health regulations on restaurant workers. You don't want your like cook sticking his hand behind him, wiping off fecal matter, and then like putting in your food. Well, same difference here. I'm fine. My lovely sister behind me. No, I'm talking to live audiences. Bye. Okay, just want to make sure, like it's all. Uh-huh. Ah, so where was I going with that? Right. For the same reason, you don't want to go ahead and go unvaccinated because, well, you don't want your health worker to go unvaccinated because it's the same as that restaurant worker not washing their hands. Do you really want the chance of you getting ill or like even like dying or something because of it? No. And that's definitely a thing. So, all right, where were we? Wow, it's like I think like what is it? I don't know where I'm going. Is it? But I'm gonna find out. But it's been like a busy few days. That's for sure. It's gonna be fun. Um, going into like my next year of college. That's for sure. Also, so let me get. I want to pull up and see what today is. Besides Hump Day, I know that's what everyone went to. Oh, got it. So I would like to say National Fajita Day, National Ice Cream Pie Day, and National Pinot Noir Day. It's Wednesday. So if you like white wine, ice cream pie, or fajitas, my suggestion is go out and celebrate. It's the beauty of August. But don't forget what comes up in 2 days. Um, yeah, so that's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, it's amazing now. It's like Gregory Abbott went ahead and went all ape wild. And so the other like doofus next door. And now hold their like they can't hold back the like overflow of their ITUs. And this isn't me. This is like even them. Gregory Abbott went on Twitter and literally said, like, why can't we get more beds for our ICUs? Why can't you reduce the amount of patients? That should be a priority. More beds for the ICUs. Like, where do we even get this? What else? Do. I haven't been like active on Facebook in a while. I've been mostly on TikTok. It's kind of like addicting after a while. Um, somewhat, maybe. I don't know. I'll tell you when I get like lives. Does anyone know how to do lives on TikTok? I'll find out eventually. So it's um it's gonna be fun seeing what this year comes up with. All right, I just wanted to jump on both. I wanted to test what a simulcast would be like, and it was kind of cool for a while. I mean, I literally got like literally on YouTube and like Facebook, and it's kind of interesting. All right, then. Everyone have a good night, and I will see you later, Gator. Do. Oh,